Don't ignore your pennies. Some 1-cent coins that look ordinary can actually be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars if they have rare errors or are in top condition. Your pocket change could be hiding real treasure. The 1973 1-cent penny might seem like just another common coin from the United States Mint, the kind that most people wouldn't even give a second thought. It's copper-colored, small, and easily overlooked in your pocket change. Millions were struck in 1973, and for decades they have circulated freely across the country. But beneath that ordinary appearance lies a fascinating story, one that has caught the attention of collectors and historians alike. Even more shocking is the fact that certain rare examples of the 1973 penny have sold for unbelievable prices, ranging from $62,000 to $136,000. For a coin with a face value of just 1 cent, that kind of leap in value is nothing short of astonishing, and it is exactly why people continue to examine their coins closely, hoping to stumble upon one of these hidden treasures. The design of the 1973 penny is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, which has been in production since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse shows the bust of Abraham Lincoln, facing right with the word Liberty on the left side, the date 1973 on the right, and the motto "In God We Trust" arching above. It is the longest-running design in U.S. coinage history, and by 1973, it had already been a familiar presence in circulation for over 6 decades. The reverse side displays the Lincoln Memorial, a design that began in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This design continued through 2008 before being replaced in 2009. If you look closely at the reverse, you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a detail many people never notice without magnification. What makes the 1973 penny stand out is not just its design but also its place in history. By the early 1970s, the cost of copper had been steadily rising. Pennies at that time were still composed primarily of 95% copper and 5% zinc, making their intrinsic value much closer to their face value than the mint was comfortable with. Although the full switch to a copper-plated zinc composition wouldn't happen until 1982, the 1973 penny sits in an interesting period when copper prices were causing concern and testing for alternative metals was already being considered. That context makes it more than just a common penny. It is a small window into the economics of coin production during a transitional time in U.S. history. But of course, what drives the enormous collector interest in the 1973 penny isn't simply history. It's rarity, condition, and errors. With hundreds of millions produced across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, the vast majority of 1973 pennies are worth only a cent or perhaps a few dollars in pristine condition. However, certain examples stand apart because of striking errors, minting anomalies, or near-perfect preservation. And it's those special cases that have pushed some 1973 pennies to values between $62,000 and $136,000. One of the most desirable types of rare 1973 pennies comes from double die errors. These occur when the coin's design is impressed more than once during the minting process, creating a noticeable doubling of letters or numbers. On some 1973 pennies, collectors have spotted doubling on the inscriptions "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," and even on the date itself. Such doubling gives the coin a unique and unmistakable character, and collectors will pay high prices to add one of these to their collections. Another variety of errors that can drastically increase the value of a 1973 penny is an off-center strike. In these cases, the blank coin wasn't perfectly aligned with the dies when struck, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing and a blank crescent of copper remains visible. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more collectible and valuable the coin becomes, particularly if the date remains visible. A 1973 penny with a significant off-center strike in near-mint condition could easily fetch thousands, if not tens of thousands, of dollars at auction. There are also transitional errors and planchet errors to consider. Sometimes coins are struck on the wrong type of blank, or planchets are made from metals intended for different denominations. Although rare, these mistakes are highly prized. If a 1973 penny were to be struck on a foreign planchet or an experimental metal planchet during the mint's testing phase for new compositions, it would instantly become one of the rarest and most valuable Lincoln cents in existence. Beyond errors, the condition of the coin plays a massive role in its value. Coins that have survived in exceptional condition, with original luster and no signs of wear, are graded at the highest levels by professional services such as PCGS and NGC. While a typical circulated 1973 penny may be worth only a cent, a pristine example graded MS-67 or higher could skyrocket in value. Some of these high-grade examples are precisely the coins that have reached price tags in the range of $62,000 to $136,000. The real magic of a coin like the 1973 penny is that it could easily be overlooked. Millions of people handled these coins throughout the decades without realizing that some of them held extraordinary value. And that's the engaging part of coin collecting. It's a treasure hunt hidden in plain sight. Stories have circulated about collectors and even ordinary individuals stumbling across rare 1973 pennies tucked away in old coin jars or inherited collections, only to later discover that their value is more than enough to change a person's financial situation. Collectors view the 1973 penny as a coin worth paying attention to for several reasons. First, it carries the historical weight of being a copper coin from an era when the U.S. Mint was starting to grapple with the economic realities of coin production. Second, it has varieties and error types that can push its value to extraordinary levels. And third, it has that thrilling potential. Every time someone finds one, there's the possibility it could be one of the rare high-grade or error coins worth a small fortune. For those who want to know if they might have one of these rare coins, the best approach is careful inspection. Look at the details under magnification. Is there doubling on the lettering or the date? Is the strike off-center? Is the coin unusually well preserved, with sharp detail and no scratches? Any of these factors could drastically increase its value. And for anyone who suspects they might have something special, the next step is to send it to a professional grading service for authentication and evaluation. Auction houses have seen intense bidding wars for rare 1973 pennies. Collectors who are building top-tier Lincoln cent sets are eager to pay high premiums for coins that will complete or elevate their collections. It's not uncommon for these coins to spark competitive excitement, pushing prices to levels that would surprise even seasoned numismatists. That's how a coin with a face value of 1 cent ends up selling for amounts between $62,000 and $136,000. The 1973 penny is more than just currency. It's a reminder of how something so ordinary can hold hidden potential. It connects everyday people with history, economics, and the artistry of coin design. It demonstrates that even in a world where billions of coins are minted, the rare survivors and the accidental anomalies can still capture imaginations and command astonishing prices. So, the next time you find a 1973 penny in a drawer, a change jar, or even as part of loose pocket change, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Take a closer look. Because while most 1973 pennies are worth just a cent, the rare ones can be life-changing, carrying values from $62,000 to $136,000. It's the kind of discovery that makes coin collecting such a captivating hobby, reminding us that sometimes the smallest pieces of history carry the greatest rewards. The US 2004 one-dime coin might seem like just another piece of pocket change, but for collectors and enthusiasts, it holds a story that makes it far more than a small silver-colored coin. The Roosevelt dime has been a mainstay in circulation since 1946, but certain years and certain conditions elevate these coins into the realm of true treasures. The 2004 dime is one such coin that has captured attention, not because millions of them weren't produced, but because of the rare survivors, the unique varieties, and the pristine examples that have turned what most people dismiss as a 10-cent piece into something worth thousands of dollars. In fact, some 2004 Roosevelt dimes have been valued at anywhere between $42,000 and $110,000, shocking people who never thought a dime could carry such value. The story begins with the design itself, which hasn't changed much since its introduction. On the obverse is the profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, a design by John R. Sinek. Roosevelt's face was chosen to honor his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, but also his association with the March of Dimes campaign that fought against polio. The reverse carries the torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. By 2004, this design had become so familiar that most people hardly glanced at it. Yet within that year's mintage lies the potential for rarity, and that is what makes the 2004 dime so captivating. What collectors prize above all else is rarity and condition. Most dimes from 2004 went into circulation, rattling around in pockets, cash registers, and vending machines. Over time, they picked up scratches, wear, and blemishes, lowering their numismatic value. But a small number of these coins never saw circulation. Instead, they were preserved, sometimes in mint sets, sometimes by accident, and sometimes by individuals who simply stored them away. These coins, when examined and graded by professionals, show extraordinary details, sharp strikes, and stunning luster. A dime like this in mint state 68 or higher is incredibly rare, and it's these coins that can command astonishing prices. But condition isn't the only factor. Error coins from 2004 also play a huge role in pushing values upward. Off-center strikes, double dies, weak strikes, and missing elements are all error types that fascinate collectors. A small mistake during the minting process turns a common coin into a unique piece. For instance, a 2004 dime with a dramatic off-center strike could instantly catch the eye of a collector and push its value far beyond its face worth. Combine an error with superb condition, and suddenly you have a coin worth tens of thousands. One of the most fascinating aspects of modern dimes like the 2004 issue is how easily they can slip by unnoticed. People toss them into change jars, leave them at the bottom of purses, or use them in everyday transactions without realizing they might be handling a coin that could sell for between $42,000 and $110,000 at auction. The thrill for collectors comes from this exact possibility, that the next rare find could be hiding in the most ordinary of places. Stories abound of individuals finding valuable coins in bankrolls or old family collections, and each story fuels the passion for searching even more. Auction houses have proven just how much excitement surrounds coins like the 2004 dime. When one of these rare examples crosses the auction block, bidding can be fierce. Collectors recognize how limited the supply is, especially when it comes to high-grade or error varieties. The atmosphere is filled with tension as the numbers climb, and when the hammer finally drops, the final price often stuns both seasoned collectors and casual observers. For those outside the numismatic world, it's hard to believe a dime could be worth a car, a vacation home, or even a college education, but for collectors, the value is undeniable. Beyond the monetary worth, the 2004 dime carries symbolic weight. It represents not just Roosevelt's enduring legacy, but also the continuation of America's coinage traditions into the 21st century. 2004 was a year when the U.S. Mint was heavily focused on the popular state quarters program, which means that the humble dime often went overlooked. Yet that's part of its charm. While everyone was focused on quarters, a few extraordinary dimes slipped quietly into existence, waiting for collectors to recognize their significance. The way collectors approach coins like the 2004 dime is meticulous. Every detail matters, from the sharpness of the strike to the quality of the luster. They examine the coin under magnification, checking for doubling in the lettering, imperfections in the mint mark, or unusual features in the portrait or reverse design. These small details often make the difference between a coin worth only its face value and one worth tens of thousands of dollars. The grading process is especially critical. Coins are sent to grading services like PCGS and NGC, where they are carefully evaluated and given a grade on the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70. A grade of 70 indicates perfection, a flawless coin. Very few coins ever achieve this, but when a 2004 dime reaches a grade of MS 68 or MS 69, it immediately enters the elite category of rarities that can fetch breathtaking prices. What's most exciting for collectors and enthusiasts is that coins like the 2004 dime are still within reach. They are not ancient relics locked away in museums, but modern coins that can still turn up in everyday life. That accessibility fuels the thrill of the hunt. Every time someone empties their pockets or checks their change, there's the potential for discovery. For many, it's not just about the money, but about the adventure of finding something so special hiding in plain sight. It's also worth noting how the numismatic community thrives on these discoveries. Coin shows, online forums, and collecting clubs are full of conversations about coins like the 2004 dime. Collectors share stories of their finds, compare grading results, and discuss the latest auction prices. These interactions keep the excitement alive and encourage newcomers to join the hobby. The 2004 dime serves as a perfect example of how a simple coin can spark such passion and community. The lesson to take from the 2004 dime is simple. Never overlook the small things. A dime might seem insignificant, but under the right circumstances, it can be worth a staggering amount of money. The values ranging between $42,000 and $110,000 prove that numismatics is not just about history, but about possibility. Each coin has the potential to tell a story, and for the collector who finds a rare 2004 dime, that story could be life-changing. So the next time you come across a dime dated 2004, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. Check its condition, examine it for unusual features, and consider its potential. Because what appears to be just another piece of loose change could, in fact, be a hidden treasure worth more than you ever imagined. The 2004 Roosevelt dime is a reminder that extraordinary value can sometimes be found in the most ordinary of places, waiting patiently for the right pair of eyes to notice. The US 2013 one-dime coin is a fascinating piece of modern coinage that, at first glance, appears to be just another Roosevelt dime passing quietly through everyday transactions. Most people never stop to look twice at it. It is tossed into change jars, slid into vending machines, and spent without a second thought. Yet beneath its humble 10-cent face value lies a surprising reality. In certain rare conditions and with specific errors, the 2013 dime has been known to reach prices between $34,000 and $89,000 at auctions and among collectors. This dramatic jump in value is what makes coins like this so captivating and worth exploring in detail. The design of the 2013 dime follows the long-standing Roosevelt dime motif that has been in use since 1946. On the obverse is the left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek. The decision to honor Roosevelt was tied not only to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II but also his pivotal role in the March of Dimes, a campaign to combat polio. The reverse features the symbolic torch of liberty in the center, flanked by an olive branch representing peace and an oak branch representing strength. This design has remained largely unchanged for decades. Yet within that familiar look, 2013 brought forth rare coins that today are far more than their face value. The rarity and value of the 2013 dime come from two major factors: condition and errors. The vast majority of dimes struck in 2013 entered circulation immediately, bouncing through cash registers, coin rolls, and countless transactions. In doing so, they acquired scratches, nicks, and general wear that diminished their numismatic value. But a very small number were preserved in pristine condition, either by collectors who spotted them early or by chance when they were set aside in mint or proof sets. These coins, when graded at high levels like mint state 67 or higher, begin to capture serious collector interest. A flawless 2013 dime with sharp detail and brilliant luster can stand out as a rarity, driving values into the tens of thousands. Error coins are another driving force in this story. Mistakes made during the minting process, whether from misaligned dies, double strikes, off-center strikes, or even missing elements, can transform a common coin into a true treasure. A 2013 dime with a dramatic error immediately catches the eye of a collector who understands just how scarce such examples are. When you combine a high-grade coin with a visible error, the value can skyrocket. It's these coins that push prices into the remarkable range of $34,000 to $89,000, making them some of the most desirable modern dimes for advanced collectors. What makes the 2013 dime even more exciting is the fact that it is a modern coin, still easily overlooked in circulation today. Unlike ancient coins locked away in museums or 19th-century rarities nearly impossible to stumble upon, the 2013 dime can still appear in your pocket change. This accessibility adds to its allure because it means anyone could be holding one of these rare and valuable coins without realizing it. Collectors often encourage everyday people to check their coins closely because hidden gems could be sitting right under their noses. Auction results confirm just how significant these finds can be. Stories circulate of 2013 dimes being submitted to grading services, coming back with high mint state grades or showcasing rare errors, and then crossing the auction block for tens of thousands of dollars. When a coin that started life as a simple 10-cent piece ends up selling for the equivalent of a luxury car, a year's tuition, or even a down payment on a house, it captures attention both inside and outside the numismatic community. The spectacle of competitive bidding for such coins underscores their desirability and cements their place as modern treasures. For collectors, the 2013 dime also represents a continuation of Roosevelt's enduring legacy on American coinage. By 2013, Roosevelt had been featured on the dime for nearly 70 years. While the U.S. Mint had introduced countless designs in other denominations, particularly through the popular state quarters and America the Beautiful programs, the dime remains steady and unchanged. That familiarity is part of why its rare high-value versions stand out. They serve as reminders that even the most ordinary, unchanged designs can hide extraordinary potential. Collectors who specialize in modern coinage often look for key years where unusual varieties appear or where superb examples are extremely difficult to find. The 2013 dime fits perfectly into this category. Even though millions were struck, the number of flawless or error examples is minuscule. This contrast between commonality and rarity is what makes the chase so exciting. Every coin roll opened, every batch of change sorted, carries the potential for discovery. The grading process is where much of the value determination happens. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC analyze coins under magnification, assessing details such as the sharpness of Roosevelt's profile, the clarity of the lettering, and the brilliance of the coin's luster. Coins are assigned a grade on the Sheldon scale, which runs from 1 to 70. While a grade of 70 is reserved for perfection, even coins in the range of mint state 67 to mint state 69 are exceptionally rare for modern dimes and can command huge premiums. When a 2013 dime reaches these grades, it quickly becomes a centerpiece for any serious collection. Beyond grading, collectors also look for provenance and rarity in specific varieties. A coin that has been preserved with a dramatic off-center strike, for example, is not just a high-grade coin but a unique piece of minting history. The combination of rarity, condition, and error makes for an irresistible mix that collectors are willing to pay handsomely to own. That's how a dime from 2013 can leap from pocket change to auction showpiece worth $34,000 to $89,000. The broader coin collecting community thrives on these kinds of stories. Collectors gather at shows, in online forums, and in hobby clubs to discuss the latest finds, compare grades, and track auction results. The 2013 dime is a coin that frequently comes up in these conversations, both because of its rarity and because of the excitement of still being able to search for it in circulation. The possibility of finding such a coin keeps the hobby alive with energy and anticipation. What makes the tale of the 2013 dime especially compelling is how it reminds people to value the details. Something as small and ordinary as a dime can hold immense worth if it has the right combination of qualities. It encourages people to pay closer attention, to take a second look at the coins they handle every day, and to appreciate the artistry and history behind them. For those who do find themselves in possession of a rare 2013 dime, the discovery can be both financially rewarding and personally thrilling. The lesson is clear: don't underestimate modern coinage. Even in a year as recent as 2013, treasures exist. While millions of ordinary dimes circulate freely, a few rare survivors stand apart, commanding values far beyond what most people would believe possible. The excitement of knowing a dime worth $34,000 to $89,000 could be hiding in your change is enough to keep both seasoned collectors and curious beginners checking every coin with renewed interest. So the next time you come across a dime from 2013, take a moment to examine it closely. Look for its condition, check for unusual features, and consider its potential. It could be just another 10-cent piece, or it could be a hidden rarity that tells a bigger story about American coinage, collecting, and the enduring value of paying attention to the smallest details. Because sometimes, the most unassuming coins end up being the ones that surprise us the most, turning everyday change into something worth thousands. The US 2019 one-dime coin might not strike most people as anything special at first glance. It's small, silver-colored, and blends right in with the rest of your change. Millions upon millions of them were minted and used in everyday transactions like paying for parking meters, buying a snack, or getting back some loose change from the grocery store. But within the mass production of the 2019 Roosevelt dime lies a rare set of survivors that carry extraordinary stories of value and rarity. Some of these dimes, under the right circumstances and conditions, have sold for jaw-dropping sums ranging from $30,000 to $75,000, leaving collectors and everyday people stunned by how such a tiny coin could hold such worth. The Roosevelt dime has been in circulation since 1946, honoring Franklin D. Roosevelt not only for his presidency during one of the most difficult times in American history, but also for his leadership in combating polio and his association with the March of Dimes campaign. The obverse side carries his profile, sharp and iconic, while the reverse shows the torch of liberty flanked by the olive branch of peace and the oak branch of strength. By the time the 2019 dime rolled out, this design had become a familiar part of American life, almost invisible because of its everyday presence. Yet, for numismatists and coin enthusiasts, it's precisely the ordinary-looking coins that can sometimes harbor the most extraordinary value. In 2019, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes across multiple facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver. The sheer volume of production might make it seem impossible for any one of these coins to be particularly rare. But coin collecting isn't about sheer numbers. It's about the quality, the condition, and the occasional errors that slip through the minting process. Among the billions of coins minted every year, only a handful emerge in near-perfect condition or with a striking flaw that sets them apart. That's where the story of the 2019 dime becomes captivating. For starters, high-grade examples of the 2019 dime are what collectors crave. When a coin is examined by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, it is judged on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing absolute perfection. Most coins that pass through people's hands in circulation never even come close to this. They pick up scratches, dings, and wear almost immediately. But a select few 2019 dimes escape this fate, either preserved in mint sets or stored away by individuals before they could be damaged. These coins, when they achieve grades of MS-68 or MS-69, enter the elite category that pushes their values into the tens of thousands of dollars. And when collectors see such a coin come up for sale, the competition can get fierce. Then there are error coins, the unexpected stars of numismatics. The minting process is not always perfect, and in 2019 some errors slipped through, creating coins that are unlike any others. An off-center strike, a double die, a missing mint mark, or even a planchet error can all make a coin incredibly desirable. Error coins combine rarity with uniqueness. No two errors are exactly the same, which gives them a special place in any collector's set. If you happen to stumble upon a 2019 dime with a noticeable minting error, you may be holding something worth a fortune. Collectors also love the modern accessibility of coins like the 2019 dime. Unlike coins from the 1800s or early 1900s, which are scarce and often locked away in private collections, modern coins like the 2019 dime are still out there in circulation. They might be hiding in a jar of spare change, in a forgotten piggy bank, or even in the coins you get back from a vending machine. That accessibility fuels the dream that anyone, regardless of whether they are a seasoned collector or just an everyday person, could stumble upon a coin worth $30,000 to $75,000 without even realizing it. Stories like this are what keep the numismatic community buzzing. Auction houses have shown time and time again how valuable coins like the 2019 dime can become. A pristine specimen or an unusual error variety crossing the auction block can turn a quiet room into a battlefield of bidding. Collectors, knowing how rare these coins are, push the price higher and higher until one finally claims victory. And when the final gavel falls, the number that flashes on the screen can shock everyone in attendance. A dime that someone once treated as pocket change suddenly becomes the centerpiece of a collection, with a price tag to rival luxury cars or even down payments on houses. The beauty of this lies in how overlooked coins like the 2019 dime are in everyday life. People rarely take the time to study their coins, to look closely at the year, the mint mark, or the details of the design. And yet, it is in those details that fortunes hide. Collectors know that a small imperfection, a subtle difference, or an untouched surface can mean the difference between a 10-cent coin and a 5-figure treasure. Part of the reason coins like this hold such high values is scarcity in top condition. Out of the millions produced, very few survive in flawless form. That scarcity makes them desirable. And when combined with the emotional thrill of owning a rare piece of American history, collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts to secure them. The 2019 dime becomes more than a coin. It becomes a symbol of discovery, rarity, and the ongoing story of U.S. coinage. For new collectors, the story of the 2019 dime is also a lesson in what to look for. Always check the quality of the strike, the sharpness of the details, and the brightness of the luster. Keep an eye out for unusual markings or misalignments. Even a small difference from the norm can transform a coin into something spectacular. And most importantly, never overlook the humble dime. The 2019 dime is a modern reminder that treasure hunting isn't just about gold bars buried at sea or artifacts hidden underground. Sometimes it's as simple as checking your spare change. That's why so many collectors continue to study and search for coins like this. Each one found adds to the excitement, and each discovery fuels the idea that the next valuable coin could appear in the most unexpected place. So the next time you receive a dime dated 2019, take a closer look. It may seem ordinary, but hidden within its small surface could be the qualities that make it worth between $30,000 and $75,000. Whether it's pristine condition, an unusual error, or simply being a survivor of the minting process with exceptional features, the 2019 dime proves that extraordinary value often hides in plain sight.